it often occurred that within trench warfare, there would be a lot of hanging around. There would be like an impasse, if you want to call it that, where they would have long periods of time in between fighting. Having watched that amazing official Sabaton video, En Liefstig I Krieg, a few weeks ago, then it was only a matter of time that I would want to check out Sabaton live again, right? And of course, a track that I haven't heard before. And yes, being a bit of a history nerd, I do get a little bit excited when I come to a Sabaton song, because I'm just curious about, the subject matter, what they're going to introduce us to this time, The way I suppose I can put it with my limited knowledge of Sabaton, but if the Headbangers Ball and the History Channel had a wild carnal fling and copulated, then the result of their procreation would be Sabaton. Yes, because they combine it so well, right? And today's epic that I'll be covering is a song called Stormtroopers. Yeah. But not that type of Stormtrooper. Having said that, though, I'm pretty sure that if Sabaton wanted to make a song about those Stormtroopers, they would probably do a pretty good job of it, to be honest. I can imagine them doing something, epic around the Empire. You know what I mean? It would be quite cool, actually. No, this is a different type of Stormtroopers. Actually, this song, the original song I'm reading, was off the concept album, The War to End All Wars, which, of course, the war to end all wars was World War I. Okay, enough of my chin wagging. We will be covering the lyrics and looking at the historical nuggets and context about the original Stormtroopers from World War I. Now, this is a live version of the song that was done at a festival in Spain, apparently. Okay. Right, let's do this. Okay. Joachim. Check the stage set. Great, man. Keyboard layers. Just quickly, looking at Joachim there, watching him live, right? Does anybody else reckon that he looks the part to go straight into the next Avengers movie? Hey! He just looks the part, man. I know, what would he be? Sabaton Man, I don't know. He'd be like, he's like the cross between Thor, because he's Swedish, I suppose, and the Punisher. Right. Sorry, I just wanted to share that with you. Because he just looks, like he belongs in the Marvel Universe or something, Right. We'll keep going. Sorry. This is a cool tempo, huh? A bit similar to Red Baron, the tempo of that one.
ugly attacks, exposing the cracks. You combat ideals from the Kaiser's flash fields. Strike a shade wow, Lord will be firepower, fueled by the fear.
Are those stage props at the front with the bullet holes, or are they monitors? They look cool, whatever. Nice.
Resurrection first!
The crowd are digging this, man. He always looks so happy on stage as well, eh? Oh, he can shred, huh? The drum kit on the tank, man. Stormtroopers rise. Yeah, man. This is prime anthemic power metal, eh? Hey, that had some energy, man. And like I said, the tempo of it kind of reminded me of the tempo they put in the Red Baron song. Because from start to finish, it's just, yeah, straight and true, right? And it goes all the way through that way. You know, it's just a full-on delivery, bang, bang, bang. And yes, I am going to say this, but every time I hear Joachim sing a chorus, I want to grab a jug of foaming mead and knock it back and then follow him into battle. Because he just has that stage presence, man. And it matches the style of the music and also the content of what they're singing about, you know, the whole theme of it. You know what I mean? And I totally understand why people are so enthusiastic about these guys, because they really look like they're totally invested in bringing a proper stage show to the crowd. So there's an obvious connection between the band and the fans. And the guys themselves are on stage. They look like they're enjoying themselves. And an audience will pick up on that, man. So let's follow the lyrics and see what historical context there is. So I mentioned earlier, this came off a concept album about World War One. So this is WW1. And of course, actually the stage set, which is great. The sandbags, the tank, all the paraphernalia. Fantastic. So, the lyrics. Let me get them up. Hang on a sec. Okay. Now there's a standstill in the war, repeating what's been done before. It must come to an end. A few will transcend. They were under 25, and under fire they would thrive. The Sturmmann is born, their enemies scorn. Now there's a standstill in the war. Standstill in the war. World War One trench warfare. That's, I'm guessing, referring to the lull in fighting, because it often occurred that within trench warfare there would be a lot of hanging around. There would be like an impasse, if you want to call it that, where they would have long periods of time in between fighting. It must come to an end. A few will transcend. They were under 25, and under fire they would thrive. The Sturmmann is born. Their enemies scorn. Sturmmann, which literally translated means storm man in German, but of course it's not the literal translation, but we would say stormtrooper. Actually, the Sturmmann was a Nazi party paramilitary rank that was formed in the early 20s, but became famous during World War One. They were created as shock troops, or sort of German assault companies, something like that. A glimpse of the future, new tactics in war, new doctrine in combat explored. As fast as lightning, there's no time to mourn. A glimpse of the future, and Blitzkrieg is born. Yeah, the Sturmmann essentially were an elite company of soldiers that brought speed and surprise to the battlefield. Yeah, and it mentions Blitzkrieg, right? Of course, made famous by Rommel in the 1940s, invading France. Again, speed and surprise. Of course, when Rommel did it, it was a whole military unit used for invading, not tactics on the battlefield. They literally used it as a means of invasion. And where it says a glimpse of the future, new tactics in war, new doctrine in combat explored. So I found something. Okay, it was the German general Erich Ludendorff who decided that they had to find a solution to overcome the lull in fighting, or the impasse, because they were hanging around a lot, right? And actually, like we know, the trench warfare, like the Battle of the Somme, I mean, literally it was like stalemate. So many people were killed, and they weren't really, either side were gaining much, they were losing everything but not gaining much. So General Ludendorff knew that they had to do something about this. Strike at 0 hour with overwhelming firepower. They're fueled by the fear in their enemies' eyes. It's a shock troop infiltration, a fast and violent escalation. Out of the trenches, the stormtroopers rise. So these tactics were first tested in 1915. And apparently they were developed under the supervision of Hauptmann Willi Rohr. And apparently he had a battalion named after him as well. Okay, so he was the guy that oversaw it and essentially brought it through. Jaegers led the way. The pioneers would join the fray. Initiative gained, advancement sustained. Lead through direct command as they're advancing through the land, encircling their flanks and ravage their ranks. Yeah. Well, Jaegers, I think most people know that's German for hunters, and I suppose in a way they were hunting down their enemy, right? Initiative gained, advancement sustained, lead through direct command. Yeah. So, yeah, the stormtroopers were well-trained soldiers, right? And they were commanded by NCOs on the battlefield. But they had autonomous decision-making, so they wouldn't wait for the generals like kilometers back to give them instructions. They would make decisions based on what was happening in front of them. And this is what made them swift in attack, and they could react to situations on the battlefield very quickly. And that was important, you know, for their whole tactic. What they would do is they would cross no man's land during one of these impasses when there was nothing happening, and they would go in wave after wave at particular points. Okay, and the idea was that they would confuse their enemy and then isolate their enemy. So as you could see, encircling their flanks and ravage their ranks. So that was the tactic. Expose their reinforcements, destroying their lines. New doctrine in combat aligns. Yeah. Infantry attacks, exposing the cracks. New combat ideals on the Kaiserschlacht's fields. Yeah, the Kaiserschlacht. Another German term, which, well, what they called the Kaiserschlacht is what the Allies referred to as the German Spring Offensive. But Kaiserschlacht, literally translated, means the Kaiser's battle. Now, the German Spring Offensive was a massive series of German attacks on the Western Front in France and Belgium, and it lasted between March and July of... hang on a sec. Just wanted to make sure I got the right... Yeah, March to July 1918. So that was the Kaiserschlacht. You know, trench warfare was a development of World War I, right? And it was trench warfare that basically signaled the end of the cavalry, because the cavalry wasn't required anymore. And I think we covered this in the Red Baron song, because the Red Baron himself was a cavalryman, and the cavalry were obsolete because of trench warfare, and that's why he ended up in a plane. And again, by the end of the First World War, they were looking for new tactics to overcome trench warfare. And of course, this new doctrine of combat came into vogue. And in fact, the Allies had their own shock troops, which were French, which also adopted the same type of attack on the German front line. So yeah, very cool. Very cool song, very cool stage set. Yes, I'm shaking because I want to grab that jug of foaming mead. Because, yeah, it's anthemic power metal, and it's very cool, man. And I just dig the fact that Sabaton are so invested in bringing a proper show to the audience, you know. I mean, Kiss used to do that. I mean, you could say they were the pioneers back in the 70s of wanting to bring a proper show. So, and other bands have followed over the years, like Maiden and so on. And Sabaton are joining that line, you know. So, great to see, man. All right, guys. Thanks for that.